What's going on, guys? It's Luminary Grand. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over My Hero Academia chapter 367. And in the last chapter, we left off with Deku finally making his appearance on the battlefield with Shigaraki, and they both meet face to face in this war. Deku makes his entrance by kicking Shigaraki in the face. So let's go ahead and jump right into the chapter and see what's going on. I really enjoy this chapter, so I'm very curious to see how you guys feel about it. We started the chapter with Deku realizing the things that were coming towards him in the previous chapters were actually the jets of Star and Stripe's friends coming to pick him up. So yes, in the last chapter, what I saw behind him was the jets from when Star and Stripe made her appearance. One of the pilots is going to come pick him up, and he says, use us as stepping stools to accelerate yourself to the battlefield towards history's biggest baddie and kick his butt. Deku then, I guess, like Spider-Man's his way past the ships, swinging from ship to ship. That's a pretty cool way to use Black Whip. In the next panel, we see Shigaraki yell, Izuku Midoriya, and then Midoriya strikes him again as he pulls him towards him with Black Whip, kicking him and knocking him over again. Shigaraki thinks to himself, has he gotten stronger? That glowing energy, I've seen it before, and they show an image of the third user of One for All. Mandalay then tells everybody to close the cage, which confirms that they were opening the cage just for Deku to get through. Deku turns back to say he's sorry to everyone for being late and ask are they okay, and then he looks back and sees the path of devastation Shigaraki left him. He sees Bakugo with the All Might card next to him laid out, and Best Genius Nejiri and Tamaki all injured. Deku looks like he's shocked. Yeah, see, this is the present that Shigaraki was talking about. He left for him. Being honest, in the early chapters, I didn't think he was gonna catch many people to leave. I thought it was just gonna be Bakugo, but I guess this makes things 10 times worse. Shigaraki then tries to provoke Deku, saying, got some excuse for being late? Let me guess, it was Toga's doing, right? Go ahead and make that excuse. There was nothing I could do. I never saw it coming. Shigaraki is really trying to get into Deku's head to get him to snap so that way he can take advantage of Deku's rage. He then tells him to go ahead and be my guest, run for responsibility the same way that they did, and Deku seems to be falling for it. Deku bends over in a rage, and we get to see another insane panel of Berserk Deku. It seems like the majority of his quirks are activating in his rage. You can see some of the smoke screen quirk, Black Whip, and the energy from Fajin all activating, and he's biting Black Whip from what it looks like. I can't tell if he's biting or if it's spewing out of his mouth. Shigaraki then speaks to himself, when you stroke this one's anger, his moves become pathetically simplistic. Shigaraki then plans to himself, whenever Deku does strike, he'll counter and then snap his spine. As Deku's freaking out, Mirio comes out of the ground saying it's gonna be okay. He speaks to Deku, trying to calm him down, saying that all the other heroes are breathing and alive. They haven't lost anyone, so there's still time for everything to be okay. He tells Deku that Edgeshot is inside of Bakugo trying to save his life and that he believes that he'll do it. Nobody's giving up. Shigaraki then mutters to himself things about the heroes and how they're failing to face reality and how it's pathetic. Mirio then fires back at Shigaraki saying, listen here, we're heroes, and if heroes don't talk the talk, then who else is going to transform ideals into reality? Deku thinks back to the things that his mentor said to him over time. A picture of All Might saying, think this is all for the camera? Think what you want. In this job, you risk your life and put your money where your mouth is. Then he thinks back to what the pilot told him, that our girl Star and Stripes wagered everything on you. He also thinks back to what the user of One for All who had a Black Whip said. It's okay to get mad. What really matters is controlling your heart. This right here is exactly what I was worried about with Deku. If you would remember that his power is enhanced through anger, but he has to control himself to use it at its maximum potential. I do like the fact that Deku is being reasoned with by Mirio, and he's thinking about all these things that his superiors have told him over time, so that way it can bring him back to reality, because a freaked out Deku isn't something that you want fighting this form of Shigaraki, because the current version of Shigaraki is determined on only one goal, destruction, well, two goals, destruction and getting One for All. In the next panel, we see smoke clearing and Deku apologizing to Mirio, saying that he's sorry. Mirio tells him to save his sorries for after they win. Then Deku speaks to Shigaraki saying, One for All, is Shigaraki still there? As it shows him activating all his quirks at the same time, but in a more controlled manner, wrapping Black Whip around his face like some sort of scarf, with the Fajin energy flowing throughout his body, and a interesting looking spear version of Black Whip on his knuckles. As he talks to Shigaraki, you can see the vestiges in the background, and it looks like in the next chapter we're gonna see something with the vestiges. Whether, I don't know if they're just showing themselves here just because to give Deku, you know, that thematic I'm not alone moment in the story, or if this is alluding to something happening in the next chapter. I would assume it's for something to happen in the next chapter. And that'll be the end of this chapter. I really like this chapter just because it went about as I expected. We got to see a little bit of action with Deku versus Shigaraki, but also Deku being a concerned person he is, he's gonna check on everybody. And I like the fact that he actually got past the freak out. We knew he was going to, it's just the fact that you never know with stories like this, and I really do like the fact that he got past the freak out and able to calm himself, even though Shigaraki was trying to egg him on. Deku was a smart person, so this shouldn't have been something that got in his way. So I really do like that. I'm very curious of the next chapter because we're finally going to get to see an all-out brawl between Shigaraki and Deku. So this is going to be the fight that everyone's been waiting for, and I expect it to be good. That like Horikoshi has stepped up his game once the war started. Everything seems to be going towards the villains and in their hands, and now that Deku's on the scene, I expect it to be a tide turn, especially since he's under control and everybody seems like they're banding together. The heroes are down, but they don't seem to be out. That'll be the end of this video. You guys let me know what you think about Deku's return and how Shigaraki seems to want to talk trash to everybody. But apparently, this is something that I had wrong. It's not just Shigaraki. This person fighting Deku, and who has been fighting here this past couple chapters, that's been all for one. But I guess it's ambiguous who they really are, because him and Shigaraki have melded so far together to become the perfect fusion. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think about this chapter. Are you excited for the next one to see Deku go all out against Shigaraki? We should finally get to see what the second user of One For All's quirk is going to be. It's coming up. I can just tell by how this chapter panned out. It's definitely coming up. So big reveal on the way, guys. And let me know what you guys think about what's going to happen. Do you think like Shigaraki's going to succeed and actually take Deku down and get One For All? Highly doubt it. Highly doubt it, but it's a possibility. Also, what do you think the second user's quirk is going to be? Me personally, I hope it's some sort of projectile, because Deku right now is really lacking ranged battle. No matter how fast or strong he is, he can reach far also, but he's still lacking ranged battle. So I'm really curious to see if this quirk is going to be something that can benefit him in that way. But this will be the end of the video. Luminary Grand signing out. I'll catch you guys in the next one.